Tonight, the world is watching. All eyes are on New York City. The iconic green marble podium of the United Nations General Assembly is being prepared for a familiar, and for many, a formidable figure. President Donald Trump is scheduled to deliver a speech that is already sending ripples across the globe. This isn't just another address. It's happening on September 23, 2025, a moment of profound international tension. The world is grappling with multiple interlocking crises. There is the protracted and brutal war in Ukraine, and there is the devastating war in Gaza. These two conflicts form the volatile backdrop for Mr. Trump's return to the UN stage. How the United States under his potential future leadership would navigate these crises is the central question on everyone's mind. His past actions and statements suggest a radical departure from the current administration's policies. He has often questioned the level of American aid to Ukraine. He has also expressed staunch, unwavering support for Israel's military actions. This speech is expected to lay out his vision, a vision that could dramatically reshape America's role in the world and its commitments to its allies. The stakes could not be higher for global stability. The anticipation is palpable, not just in Washington, Moscow, Beijing, Kyiv, Jerusalem. We are getting a clearer picture of what to expect thanks to one of Mr. Trump's closest allies. Senator Marco Rubio of Florida, a key voice on foreign policy, has been previewing the speech's core themes. His message has been direct and uncompromising. Speaking to reporters, Senator Rubio made it clear that the speech will be a powerful reaffirmation of the America First philosophy. This means prioritizing American interests, American sovereignty, American strength above all else. According to Rubio, the era of what he calls globalist apologetics is over. The United States will no longer subordinate its decisions to the consensus of international bodies like the United Nations. A significant portion of Rubio's preview focused on a stern warning to Hamas. He stated unequivocally that under a Trump administration, there would be zero tolerance for the group's actions. He referenced a recent defiant letter sent by Hamas leadership concerning the remaining Israeli hostages. Rubio's response was blunt. He warned that any harm that comes to those hostages would be met with a response of unprecedented severity. This wasn't just political rhetoric, it was framed as a direct and credible threat. The message is intended not only for Hamas but for any nation or entity that supports them. The warning is clear: the United States will act decisively to protect its allies and their citizens. A central theme of the upcoming address, as outlined by Senator Rubio, and expected from Mr. Trump himself, is a profound and fundamental criticism of the United Nations. For Mr. Trump, the UN is not a forum for noble cooperation. It is a symbol of bloated bureaucracy, ineffective, biased, often working against U.S. interests. This isn't a new critique from him, but delivering it on the UN's own stage carries a special weight. He is expected to argue that American taxpayers foot a disproportionate share of the bill for an organization that frequently condemns its closest allies like Israel. This criticism is tied directly to his promise of a stronger, more independent America. The vision is one where the United States leads not by consensus but by example and by strength. In this view, American power should not be constrained by international agreements or the resolutions of bodies like the UN Security Council. Mr. Trump is expected to argue that true global stability comes from a strong and unapologetic America, one that is willing to act unilaterally when its interests are at stake. The war in Gaza is expected to be a major and perhaps the most contentious part of Mr. Trump's speech. The United States' position on this conflict, as previewed by Senator Rubio, will be one of absolute and unwavering support for Israel. This includes full backing for Israel's military actions aimed at dismantling Hamas. Mr. Trump is likely to frame the conflict not as a territorial dispute, but as a clear-cut battle between a democratic ally and a terrorist organization. Any talk of moral equivalency or calls for Israeli restraint will be dismissed as a dangerous misunderstanding of the threat. This position draws a sharp line in the sand. This hardline stance has already drawn criticism from some corners of the world, most notably from Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. President Erdogan has been a vocal critic of Israel's campaign in Gaza and has accused Western nations of hypocrisy. Senator Rubio responded to this criticism directly, accusing Erdogan of siding with terrorists and undermining NATO unity. This sharp exchange highlights the deep divisions the conflict has created, even among nominal allies. Mr. Trump's speech is expected to amplify this confrontational approach, calling out nations he sees as enabling Hamas's actions or excusing Hamas's actions, and making it clear that such positions will have consequences for their relationship with the United States. The issue of the Israeli hostages is a critical component of this tough stance. Beyond the major conflicts, the speech will address broader humanitarian fallout, particularly the refugee crisis. Millions have been displaced from Ukraine and Gaza. A key point Senator Rubio has raised and that Mr. Trump will likely emphasize is the question of why neighboring countries in the Middle East have been reluctant to accept large numbers of Palestinian refugees. He will likely frame this as a failure of regional solidarity, suggesting that these wealthy nations are shirking their responsibility while expecting the West to bear the burden. This argument serves to deflect criticism of United States immigration policy and to put pressure on regional powers. As the world awaits the address, the atmosphere is charged with uncertainty. What will be the immediate reaction from other world leaders? Russia and China are likely to condemn the speech as another example of American hegemonism and unilateralism. European allies, already nervous about the prospect of Mr. Trump's return, will be listening for any reassurances about commitments to NATO and European security, though they are unlikely to receive many. For nations in the Middle East, the speech will force them to navigate the treacherous currents of a United States administration that is unapologetically and totally aligned with Israel. The speech is being billed as a final warning. The world is on notice.